What's going on, YouTube? It's Donnie P all day. So this is going to be an actual short one. I say that all the time, and then they end up being 20 minutes long. But this one's going to be a short one, and not just because it's a short blade, but because I can't bang on it the way I would normally bang on a knife, and there's a reason. I'll show you. Now, that said, it doesn't take away from this knife, man. This thing is beautiful. So this is a Rosecraft Blades Clinch River Swayback. RCT005 Romeo Charlie Tango 005. So here we have, it's a single bladed slip joint. It is D2 steel with a 3.125 inch blade. You can see the swayback. It has a brushed satin finish, which is beautifully done. The scales, which are enormously beautiful, and I'll show you up close, are called bourbon bone. They're bourbon bone covers. It has steel liners, nickel silver pins, a nickel silver rosebud shield to match, and brushed steel bolsters. It is 4 inches closed. And when it's open, it is almost 7 1/4. So I have to say it's pretty nice. Now, this was designed by a guy named Andy Armstrong. Don't know him. So here's the deal. Look at these freaking scales. This is as beautiful as it gets when you're talking about that. Now, here's what I love and don't love. I love this. I don't love that. So, and what I mean by that is the way this is built, how it's done, everything, like just how it's made, materials, craftsmanship, everything. Oh, it does have a lanyard hole. Is just, above and beyond. It is just gorgeous. Normally, I don't like swaybacks. I'm not a big Wharncliffe guy. One of the reasons, and this is why I'm not going to really bang on this one, is you see how thin that tip is. This is not a bang on it knife. This is a cutter. Straight up, just a cutter. If you have a knife like this, or a Wharncliffe knife, and you end up breaking your really skinny tip, it's because you didn't use the knife as it's intended. So that would be your fault. So if I was to take this out and do a little batoning and do some things to test it, or even throw it into the stump and have it go a little sideways and snap the tip, that wouldn't be the fault of the knife. That would be the fault of the user. And since this is Scab's knife, not mine, I don't want to be the user who was at fault. So what we are going to do, though, is cut. I want to see if it's sharp, and I'm trying to find a good spot here. I'm running out. Too many knives to test. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the hair already popped up, right? So it is 100%. I mean, razor freaking sharp. But I was so impressed with just how smooth it made it. It's literally like I just shaved with a razor. Look how smooth it is. See it dark to light right there? That is so smooth. I gotta say, Rosecraft did one hell of a job putting an edge on that. That is nice. So yeah, so normally I'm not a fan of this shape. I don't generally like when they reverse the grip to the blade. I'm not a big fan of that. I would rather this where the edge is on this side, because this fits into the palm naturally, and your fingers are gonna curl around there. But the reason I don't mind this one like that is because of this. Andy put in this choil, but it's not just like a sharpening choil or anything like that. This is a full choil. My finger fits right in there. I am not getting any uncomfortable feelings against the edge where the ricasso is, where the blade starts. I get good retention when I press my thumb for when you're doing whittling cuts, and you're putting that pressure on the spine. Man, it feels good. And I have to say that because of this, it changes everything. It just gives it a different kind of look. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it makes it look better. But we want to go out and just cut some stuff. Maybe we'll cut some stuff in here because this is going to be, your whittling slash like regular just opening stuff. Oh, hey, I got a package from grandma today. All right, so let's see. Now, without putting pressure on here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do skin style, and we're just going to rip. And I just dropped the box for it. Got to remember where that went. So now I'm going to use the appropriate grip. So I'm going to put my finger inside of there. I'm going to grab around the handle, and I'm going to put pressure on the spine of this knife, and we're going to just rip. And rip. And rip. And I have to say, this thing is in the hand. That's exactly how it's supposed to feel. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. What we want to do is we're going to go outside, and I'll probably notch a stick, show you that it can notch. With this edge profile, I don't doubt it. It's going to be able to feather stick. And we'll test on like the rope cut, things like that. And that'll be it. But it'll give you a pretty good idea, because this is a pocket knife, not your camp knife, hunting knife. So we should be able to get all we need just out of that. Let's go. All right, I'm really glad we got some sunshine today, because this thing needs to be shown off. Let me wipe my fingerprint off the blade. Whew. Look at this knife, man. And I'll tell you, if it wasn't for the scales, it would be just another slip joint. The scale choice that they decided to go with on this, man, I'll tell you, man, it's prettier in person than it is on film. And I think it looked pretty good on film. I think I was able to catch some of that grain in there, and just the difference how the orange fades in and out. It gets darker to light. Is just really, really nice. It is really nice. All right, so no downward throws, because I don't want it to wiggle and break, but I downward throwed it. So let's see here. All right, so what we want to do is just a couple of the basics. Let's see. We got 4 layers of leather belt here. Let's see if I can't get all the layers together, because this thing is getting in worse and worse shape as it goes. I'm going to go from the choil, and it's no problem at all. Let's try it. It's just a straight push cut on the rope, and that was as easy as they should ever be. I mean, that was just easy. This thing is nice. This thing is nice. Let's see if we can get a nice flat spot here. Wow. And going this way, you don't have to worry about putting tension on the blade on a slip joint, because it doesn't close this way. So when the blade is being pushed on, you don't have to worry about it closing on you, so you have no fears. So I know a lot of people are concerned with slip joints, because they feel like it's going to just naturally close on them. If you feel that, you just don't know. You don't know. I mean, it's not going to happen. The only way you could ever get one of these things to close on you is if you stab this way and it closed. Otherwise, it's really not gonna. You're putting pressure on the blade that way. It's not gonna. Nothing bad is gonna happen. All right, so let's go with a side grip and get some really nice curls here. Oh man, and they're falling off because the stick is just uneven. Once we get some down, look at that, man. We got those Shirley Temple curls. Golly, I have to say that as far as feathering, this may be one of the better feathering sticks you would ever pick up in your entire life. The feathering knives, just that nice straight blade offers you a continuous cut. You know, normally with a curved blade, you have to curve the blade to keep that cut going. With this, you're just pulling straight through. It's just nice. Let's try and do a nice little what do you call it, wedge here. So if this is, let's say you are out camping and you get stuck, or you're not camping, but let's say you go for a hike and all of a sudden bad weather comes in and you're grounded, you gotta, you know, make life wherever you land. I'll tell you what, you're gonna, and this is the knife you have in your pocket, you got to make sure that you can still at least maybe put together some kind of shelter for the night, maybe build a little fire for the night, and you got to make sure that it's going to do like the basics. You know, it doesn't have to be your bushcraft, you know, god knife, but you want to make sure that you're going to get some nice clean cuts, and you're going to be able to do things like make some wedges so you can create yourself a nice little shelter, or feather stick so you can create yourself a nice little fire. That's really, really important, because the best knife you have is the one you have on you in those situations, right? So making sure that it does the basics is super important to me. Now it's taking a long time because I'm being really careful with that thin tip, and it is D2, and it's so far I found out that their blades are heat treated really well, and I doubt, and I mean 100% doubt, that I'm gonna break this tip, but it's not mine, so I don't want to. Now, if I did break it, I believe this is sub $50. So if I did break it, I'd just buy Scav a new one and be done with it. But don't want to have to break the guy's knife. So let's see. Plastic netting. Whoa, man, too many knives don't do well on this. We showed that one in one of the last videos. And it chunked, this stuff right here chunked up the blade of a really good knife. So let's see how the edge holds up on this guy. I'll tell you, man. I'll tell you that Devo knives are good knives. And this stuff tore the edge up on one of those. This one, still really nice and sharp. Let's see. We've got, oh my gosh, the soccer ball, no problem, because this is still really freaking sharp. So I'm not going to do a lot. Like I said, I just wanted to prove that this thing has a really nice edge profile. It's a really comfortable cutter, and it'll get the job done in an emergency, in a pinch. Whew. And then even if you don't have anything to cut, at least you can look at it. Man, those handle scales are just pretty. So, I don't know, while I'm not a fan of this style, I'm a fan of this knife in this style. So, that might sound a little weird, but I'm sold on this as far as, is it a good knife? Yeah. Is it something that I would ever look at in a catalog, you know, and see the shape of and say, oh man, I gotta have that? Absolutely not. Not for me. Nope. But after using one, if you said, would this be something you'd be interested in owning? Yeah, because I would actually, I use my slip joints. My American Sod Buster, it comes with me a lot. So I could see cutting with something like this, and just the fact that when you're at the round table and you're hanging out with your buddies and somebody says, oh, hey, let me see a knife real quick, so they can cut something open, and you pull out something that they're going to look at and go, damn, that thing's pretty. It's just cool, man. It's cool to have something different. So, look at that. We kept it under 14 minutes. All right. It's like 8 minutes longer than I thought I was going to do. That's it for this one. I am Donnie B all day. Damn, that's nice. Until next knife.